The 25 richest Americans paid 3.4% between 2014 and 2018. Not 34%, 3.4%. Your tax rate is literally 7 times higher than a billionaire's. You're probably thinking I'm cherry-picking data or exaggerating. I'm not. And the reason this happens is so simple and so stupid that it'll genuinely make you angry. I promise you that. Ready? Here it is. The tax code doesn't care how rich you are. It only cares how your money shows up. That's it. That's the whole game. There are exactly 2 ways money appears in your life. The first way, you work for it. You get a paycheck. The government takes its cut immediately. 15%, 20%, 25%, whatever your bracket is. You can't dodge this. You can't negotiate. You can't hire someone to make it go away. It's just gone before the money even touches your account. The second way is your money makes money. You own stocks, real estate, a business. When those things go up in value, that's not income to the IRS. It's just your net worth increasing. And here's the beautiful part, at least for rich people. The IRS doesn't tax it until you sell. But here's what nobody tells you. You never have to sell. Ever. Remember that 3-word phrase I mentioned at the start? Here it is. Buy, borrow, die. This is how billionaires live tax-free lives. It's completely legal. It's not a loophole. It's not a hack. It's literally how the system is designed to work. Let me walk you through it step by step, because once you understand this, you'll never look at wealth the same way again. Say you own $100 million in Amazon stock. Over 10 years, it grows to $500 million. You're now $400 million richer on paper. Question: do you sell it and pay 20% capital gains tax? That would cost you $80 million. Hell no. Instead, you go to a bank and say this: loan me $50 million, I'll use my stocks as collateral. The bank says yes immediately. Why wouldn't they? You're rich. You're backed by $500 million in assets. You're not a risk. They loan you the money at maybe 2% or 3% interest, maybe less if you're wealthy enough. Now you live off that $50 million. You buy houses, cars, yachts, whatever. And here's the critical part. Borrowed money isn't income. It's debt. So you pay 0 taxes on it. 0. Meanwhile, your stocks keep growing. They're sitting there, compounding, untaxed. When you need more money in 5 years, you borrow another $50 million. Same process, still no taxes. You repeat this until you die. And when you die, your kids inherit everything at its current value, thanks to something called step-up in basis. All those gains, all that $400 million increase just gets erased, reset. Nobody ever pays taxes on it. The government never sees a penny. This isn't a loophole. This is the design. This is the system working exactly as intended. Meanwhile, a teacher making $55,000 a year pays $11,000 in federal taxes. That's 20% of her salary. She can't borrow against her future salary to avoid taxes. That option literally doesn't exist for normal people. The system isn't built for her. Elon Musk in 2018? His wealth increased by $14 billion. He paid $455 million in taxes. Sounds like a lot, right? Do the math. That's a 3.2% rate. That teacher paid 6 times more than the richest person on earth. 6 times. But wait, it gets worse. The IRS audits poor people at basically the same rate as millionaires now. Why? Because auditing a poor person is cheap and easy. It's automated. A computer flags their return, sends a letter, done. Takes maybe an hour of work. Auditing a billionaire, that requires forensic accountants, lawyers, years of work, millions of dollars in costs. And billionaires have legal teams whose entire job is to make the audit as painful and expensive as possible for the IRS. They bury them in paperwork, they challenge every single finding, they drag it out until it's not worth it anymore. So the IRS goes after easy targets. People who claimed the earned income tax credit get audited at the same rate as people making 7 figures. Poor people subsidizing rich people's ability to avoid oversight. And yes, this applies to corporations too. Amazon paid 0 in federal taxes in 2017 and 2018, despite making billions in profit. Not a low rate, 0. They get tax credits that literally exceed their entire tax bill. Your tax break? You get to deduct $1,500 if you contribute to a 401k. Maybe you can write off some student loan interest if you're lucky. That's your optimization. That's the system's gift to you. It wasn't always like this. In 1944, the top marginal tax rate was 94%. Not a typo, 94%. During the 1950s, when one middle-class salary could buy a house and support an entire family, it was 91%. The 1970s? Still 70%. Then came the 1980s. Reagan slashed it to 28% and sold everyone on trickle-down economics. The pitch was simple. Rich people keep more money, they invest it, everyone wins. Rising tide lifts all boats. Except they didn't invest it in ways that helped regular people. The wealth gap exploded. The top 1% now owns more wealth than the entire middle class combined. All of it, more than 50% of American families put together. And here's the part that should genuinely make you furious. The IRS got deliberately defunded. Between 2010 and 2021, their budget dropped by billions in real terms, adjusted for inflation. Audits of millionaires fell by 72%. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't incompetence. This was policy. This was a choice. But there's one more twist you need to know about. Remember how I said you're paying way more than billionaires? Well, you're also funding the system that protects their wealth. Payroll taxes fund Social Security and Medicare. You pay 7.65% on your entire salary, every dollar you make. But the wealthy, they only pay that rate on the first $160,200 of income. Everything above that is completely exempt for Social Security and Medicare. You are literally subsidizing the system that lets billionaires pay less than you. Your paycheck funds their tax advantages. Warren Buffett, who openly admits this whole thing is insane, once paid a 0.1% effective tax rate one year. His secretary paid 33%. Buffett himself said this was absurd and needed to change. Congress agreed. They nodded. They said, yes, this is a problem. Nothing changed. Now, here's where usually happens in videos like this. The creator wraps it up with, but there's hope, or here's what we can do. And I want to be completely honest with you. I don't have that. Every few years, someone proposes a wealth tax or closing loopholes or funding the IRS properly so they can actually go after tax cheats. It dies quietly every time because the people benefiting from this system are the exact same people with the resources and connections to keep it exactly as it is. The system is working perfectly. It's just not designed for you. It's designed by people who make money from money for people who make money from money. You and I are just funding it. So next time you finish your taxes and feel robbed, you're not crazy, you're not missing something. You're just playing a game where the rules were written by people who don't have to follow them, and they have zero interest in changing that. None. If you found this useful or infuriating, or both, subscribe for more videos explaining systems that seem designed to confuse you, whether it's economics, finance, or just why everything costs so much. No promises about upload schedules or life-changing content, just occasionally explaining things that should be simple but aren't. That's it.